All right, we're doing something fun and different today. I'm gonna take some white and clear gel, which is the way I start every painting, really. Almost every painting. And I'll just prime this whole sky area with this mix. What that does is it just allows my color to flow easily, and I can create nice soft blends. We're gonna be doing something quite a bit different and fun. I think you'll enjoy it. I'm gonna intentionally mess this up, and I'm gonna create a horrible mess. And I'll show you how to fix it, just in case it ever happens to you. Not that you would let it, but just in case. There we go. Let's take some yellow and some yellow ochre and white. This is kind of a nice, easy way to start a sunset painting. Of course, one of the main things that'll lead you into this problem is going to be putting too much paint down. By putting too much paint down, you're going to more easily mix your colors with less effort. And that's a problem when it comes to creating green. Oh, look at that yellow. This is gonna be green in just a second. Wow. Before we go too far, I just want to thank my Patreon members. And if you're not a member, I'll put a link in the description. You should definitely at least consider trying it out for a month and seeing if you like it, because we do all kinds of fun things there, including critique videos where people send in their paintings and I tell them about how to improve and stuff like that. I know people are really learning, and because they're getting better. The same people are getting better, every time we do this. So the link in the description. And then you get notified when I do another one of those critique videos. Now, if you were painting this in real life, you would probably use a different brush. I mean, you're not going to be silly about it, right? You would probably just use a different brush and take a little bit of blue. You might even put a little red with it. I don't know. Probably not. And some white. I'm just thinking if you're like a beginner, So you have this beautiful blue. You're like, I'm going to paint some. What could go wrong? I'm going to put a beautiful blue sky up here. And then you start to get that green. You're like, oh no, what should I do? I know, I'll blend some more. You can't tell me that that's not the first thing that a beginner does is, oh, it's not working. Let me blend some more. Yeah. And so you just blend and you blend and you blend. And you get more and more green as you go. And then you add more blue because you think, surely more blue will overpower the green, right? And we're getting a pretty good amount of green now in that sky. Yep, we've got green. Yikes. Only thing that's going to fix this is adding more brush strokes, right? Let's keep blending. Maybe the green will go away. Yeah. We've made a mess. I'm going to show you how to repair it. So here's what I would do. The first thing I would do to correct this, I would take a roll of shop towels. And I would begin by just rubbing away some of this paint. Get some of the paint off the canvas. Just like so. Just the green. The rest can stay. Okay, now that didn't fix the green. That just removed the outer layer of green. We still have green that's saturated the canvas, and we're not going to be able to get that off. It's a little more to it than just, well, I'll just paint over it. I think it's going to require clouds, to tell you the truth. I'm going to try with clean brushes. The other thing I need to do is put out some clean white, because that white's contaminated. All right, I've got some fresh white, so I'm going to take that white and red. Just so you know, when you do mix green, red is the place that you start. You start with red. Even if this happens, on a real painting, and sometimes it does just a little bit. I'm seeing just a little bit of green. I'm going to jump into the red immediately, and that's what you do. Even if you're just even feeling like you're about to see green, start painting with red. So anyway, I'm going to take my red and white that I just mixed up there. I've got this little spot here that's not contaminated, and I'm just going to go right around that for starters. Believe it or not, we can actually turn this into something that's decent. Hopefully. I will admit, I'm not an expert on this because I don't do it all the time, but we'll see. There's some yellow. I just took some of my yellow and I added to that because I feel like it goes from yellow to red a little too quick, and I think I want a little bit more of a peachy tone right there, like so. When it comes to correcting a painting, it's important, this is going to help somebody. It's important to, when you're in correction mode, and you're no longer like, oh, I've got a set plan. Now you're like, oh, I'm trying not to lose the painting. It's important to throw away your original ideas At least throw away your emotional attachment to your original idea and not say, how can I get back to my original idea, but say, how can I make something out of this? See, if I wanted the original idea to be like a vast yellow sky, well, that's not going to work. I'm going to have to get a new canvas, but I can turn it into a beautiful sunset. So you have to be flexible when you're repairing a painting. There it goes. I can let a little bit of that green and yellow mix there kind of shine through. It's not too bad. Okay, more red, more red, more red. So you see how the red going over top of this helps to kind of correct it some. But see, it's one thing just to paint a big blob of red, but I'll be honest, that doesn't look that good. So we haven't really repaired anything yet. So you gotta stick with me. We got a couple more steps. It's one thing to cover the red, and it's another, or cover the yellow with red, but it's another thing to make it look pretty. So that's what the challenge is going to be. Can we make this look like something I would actually want to continue the landscape on? Because right now it doesn't look anything like something I would want to continue the landscape on. You can see I'm just trying to pick up some color and work it. A little tinge of that turquoise up there is okay, I guess. Tap in a little more red there. Okay. So you see, I'm beginning just to try to bring in some life or some movement to those clouds, you know, like they're sweeping up. I just think that that's interesting. They're not really clouds right now. They're just brush strokes. Okay, and as I stand back now, we're beginning to get somewhere. And that's what you say when you're real confident we're beginning to get somewhere. Now I'm trying to work some of that purple in there. We're almost to the point where you could stop, but it's nowhere near good enough that I would want to continue with it. So what I'm going to do next is take a dry and clean brush, brand new brush actually, so if it sheds a hair, that's why. And I'm going to just blend. I'm going to blend some of these colors together, especially toward the bottom here, working from my yellow into my red, and then up to the blue. Wiping the brush in between so that I don't get green again, or kind of create mud. So those are just my base clouds, my base colors. It kind of looks like clouds. Now what I can do is paint clouds on top. So I've got a filbert brush. I'm actually going to take this, what am I going to take? I'm going to take this brand new filbert brush through some yellow. It's yellow, red, and white. Yellow, red, and white. Hopefully you guys are enjoying and learning something. Maybe not learning as much. I mean, some people are going to learn something. Some of you guys are probably just going to enjoy this because it's entertainment to see if I can fix this. And if there's anything else you'd like to see, like a challenge like this, where you like mess something up intentionally and then show you how to fix it, let me know in the comments because I'm open to doing other videos like this. So now my thought is let's go ahead and create movement in the sky. And to do that, we create a smaller effect toward the bottom and larger effects toward the top. That's what's going to make it look like the clouds are coming over us like that instead of just going up, if that makes sense. It's easy to go up. It's not so easy to do this. And see how I roll my brush continually to the edge to feed clean paint. Continually rolling the brush into like a circle. There we go. Yes, there we go. Just creating some soft clouds. The more we add here, the happier I'm becoming with this sky. You wouldn't hardly know that it was such a mess. And even, like I said earlier, even fixing it with the red kind of still looked like such a mess. It wasn't until we began to take the purples and the blues and pull them all together in a way that's smaller. See, I think so often we make effects that are too large. The smaller the effects, the better most of the time. Actually, there we go. See, so if you can get a cloud that's made up of a bunch of small strokes, it's going to be better than a cloud that's going to be made up of a couple of big strokes. Usually. I mean, it is art, so everything has to be qualified with a usually, or a in my opinion, or something like that, but you get the idea. So anyway, that gives you a basic idea of kind of how you might repair a sky. like that. Yeah. I mean, it is repaired. It's now like, okay, can I take that sky and change it from disastrous to mediocre to, oh, I can use that. We're definitely past the disastrous, and we're beginning to pull out of the mediocre. Not quite to the, oh, I'll use that yet, but I see it. I see it. It's hiding in here somewhere. Oh yeah. Smaller, softer clouds down here. Stronger clouds up there. Check this out. I also have brown and black on my palette today, knowing that I was just going to be painting a sky. The reason for that is because I'm going to actually put some of this burnt umber straight into this. We're actually used to use burnt umber more often in my skies, but I'm going to use it now. I figured it'd be nice today. And I am going to sprinkle some burnt umber in here as well. You're like, oh, burnt umber. But yeah, but if you use it carefully, it's actually super pretty. And it doesn't scream. Nobody else is going to say, oh, there's brown in that sky. But you know what? It's kind of pretty. You easily could stop right there. But I'm going to take it just even one step further because I can. And it'll be a really good before and after shot, won't it? I'm going to take some of my yellow and my white on a detail brush. I'm going to punch this out with a beautiful, sharp highlight. I'm putting quite a bit of paint on there. I really am. I'm being a little less careful than I would if this was a finished painting, because I know I don't have any trees or anything over this. And that's not to say one day I wouldn't finish this painting. Maybe I would come back and maybe I would add something on top of it, put a landscape around it, and maybe that would make something fun for a Patreon live stream. I don't know. I'm not saying we'll do that, but I'm saying it might be. Let me know in the comments. And just blending all that in. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's just sort of there. We have a cloud here. Kind of drifts along. And just changing the flavor. It needs a little bit of that reddish, yellowy red up here, I think. There we go. Just, oh yeah, create a little bit more movement on that cloud. Going in kind of like a swoopy direction. That's kind of pretty. It needed some sort of a change, yeah. There we go. Kind of seeing the underside of that cloud. You see it? The underside of the cloud? Yeah. Another little shot of that highlight there. See, I'm spending a little bit more time on these couple clouds in here because they're in the center of the painting and they create a little bit more interest and a little bit better layering. And they help to draw the focus, I think, into this center area, which is good, especially if we want to finish out this, you know, at a later time to make this painting usable. I like that one there. Ooh, that's good. A little bit of kind of almost an unexpected flavor there, right there. Yeah, it's okay to have a little simple areas, you know, more blank areas. That's okay. This is where really everything comes together and things really kind of begin to work out for you. And definitely some of that up under here as well. I'm going to leave a lot of the brush strokes. This sky is, like I said, I don't have any forest or anything going on top of it. Otherwise, I would be more careful with it, that's for sure. You could easily create mud, you know, after fixing all that green, you could create mud here, so you do need to be careful. It's not just automatic that it's going to work everything. You got to be very careful with it. You could still create mud. You could still even create green if you don't watch it. The last thing I'm going to do is just take a little 3/4 brush, make sure it is indeed clean and dry. I'm just going to stroke in here and just kind of soften it a little. You know what? That brush is it's not the brush's fault. It's kind of crusty. I didn't clean it. I let it dry. So let me just use the blender brush instead. I'm just going to hit some of these areas and soften them if they even need it. They really probably don't. It's important to continually wipe that brush as you go. Make sure everything's good. Not getting out of hand. Up in here, make sure soften some of those edges so they're not too sharp. I don't want them too crispy. Little movement, oh there it is, little movement to that sky. You can even see I'm kind of rocking my hand like so. That's creating the blur and the motion there to that. Oh, it's so pretty. Doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to kind of be there. Oh, yeah. Well, really, you could take this as far as you want, but I think as far as the lesson goes, pretty much showed you how to fix a sky that went from, a miserable disaster green to something that you could certainly work with and then put in any kind of painting that you like. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Don't forget to check out our website, DVDs, brush line, and Patreon. Thanks for watching. Well, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Remember to subscribe if you're not already, and click the like button. That helps me out a lot. Stick around, watch a couple more videos, and stay inspired.